morning, members of the class of 2018, President Mcculloh, Interim Academic Vice President Elizabeth Mermin Joswiak, honored guests, friends, and families of the graduates, faculty, and administrators. Welcome to the commencement ceremony. I am Jane Korn, and I'm proud to be the Dean of Gonzaga University Law School. I ask that you please stand and join the Big Bing Theory, an undergraduate a cappella group, as they sing the national anthem. At the conclusion of the anthem, please remain standing for our invocation.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, and the home of the brave?
Thank you. It is my pleasure to introduce the law school chaplain, Father Tran of the Society of Jesus, who will give the invocation.
O God, authors of all wisdom, giver of all truth, seekers of all servants, we thank you for the time of life that marked your continuing goodness. We are grateful for the students who have been open to study and learning, and who now gain graduation to tomorrows that will take them in many directions, but never from your presence. For Friendship Forum, we give you thanks. For difficulty overcome, we give you thanks. For faith sustained, we give you thanks. For your abundant gifts received to the kindness of staff and faculty of this school, we give you thanks. We ask for your almighty hand be upon those who graduate today. Bless their life from this day onward with goodness and love. Help them to stay true to their dreams and use their gifts wisely, and to walk into the futures with faith, hope, and love. All of this, we pray to the one who sat among the teachers and who himself grew in wisdom. Jesus Christ, our Lord. Amen.
Thank you, Father Tran. Please be seated. Before we begin the formal part of this wonderful day, I would like to ask something of our graduating class. You are here today because of your hard work and commitment, but also because of the hard work and commitment of your mothers, your fathers, your spouses, your partners, friends, children, and many other people who supported you in so many ways and helped you get to this day. So I'm going to ask our graduating class to please stand, turn around, and applaud your staunch supporters as a way of saying thank you for all they have done. Stay standing. Throughout your 3 years here, you have struggled, grown, and stretched. And the people who have helped you and educated you and sometimes confounded you are sitting before you. I am going to ask the faculty of the law school to please rise to be acknowledged for all of your hard work, and I ask you to thank them for all they have done. Now you can be seated. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Thayne Mcculloh, President of Gonzaga University. Dr. Mcculloh is the 26th president. He received his bachelor's degree from Gonzaga and his PhD from Oxford University. He knows Gonzaga inside and out, having worked here for many years before becoming president. Please join me in welcoming President Mcculloh.
Good morning. Academic Vice President Mermin Joswiak, Dean Korn, and our distinguished honorees, Senator Katherine Cortez Masto, today's commencement speaker and recipient of an honorary Doctor of Laws degree, the Honorable United States District Court Judge Rosanna Alute-Peterson, recipient of the Gonzaga School of Law Medal, members of the faculty, staff and administrators, honored family members and guests, but especially you, the graduates of Gonzaga School of Law, class of 2018. What a privilege it is to be with you this morning. Today is a day of giving thanks and celebration for all of us. Today, graduates of the class of 2018, we recognize the remarkable achievement that has led to today and the granting of your degree. Before we proceed further, I want to take a moment to recognize and thank an individual who has played a critical role in leading the School of Law over these past 7 years. At the conclusion of this month, she will retire as dean and return to the vocation of faculty. Dean Korn, will you please join me and Academic Vice President Mermin Joswiak here at the podium. Just a small token of our esteem, we have a plaque to present to the Dean, which reads, "In gratitude for your many contributions to the School of Law at Gonzaga University and your friendship and intellectual companionship, be assured of our prayers in your continued contributions to Gonzaga University, given this day, May 12th, 2018. Would you please join us in congratulating and thanking Dean Korn for her years of service leading the School of Law. Graduates, some of you entered the School of Law immediately following your undergraduate work, but some of you did so having first spent time entering the professional world and gaining hands-on practical experience. Many of you here today are accompanied by spouses, daughters or sons, and extended family, all of whom are coming together for a singular purpose, and that is to celebrate your accomplishment. They know better than most what real sacrifices you have made to get to this point in your life and career. Some of you may be aware that I am myself a proud alumnus of Gonzaga University and someone who takes immense pride in the educational experiences that were afforded to me and are afforded to all of our students. The depth and breadth of my undergraduate experience prepared me well for the academic rigors of graduate school. But I must admit to you today that I look back on my graduate school experience as one of the most trying periods of my adult life. I clearly remember the frustrations which came with having to constantly juggle time for my studies and research with the demands of family, an often unfulfilled desire to be with and maintain friendship, and working to make ends meet. So it is thus with sincere appreciation for the sacrifices you and those who love and have supported you have made that I join with my colleagues in congratulating you. As you go forth from this day, I hope that you carry these sentiments with you. In your dreams and aspirations, you carry the hopes and dreams of this university. We will miss you, but we will look forward to celebrating your many achievements to come with you. Without question, you each will find opportunities for success and achievement in your future work. We hope you will take time to nourish your heart and your faith along the way. Wherever you go in this life and whatever good works you choose to pursue, know indeed that God's Holy Spirit is upon you now and will remain with you forever. You have been a gift to us, you inspire us, and we are grateful to have been with you on this part of your journey. It's been my honor to serve as your president, and it allows me this day on behalf of the entire Gonzaga University community to wish you all the best and Godspeed. Congratulations to you, class of 2018.
Thank you, Dr. Mcculloh. When I said I wanted to step down as dean with as little fanfare and fuss as possible, apparently nobody was listening. It is now my pleasure to but thank you very much. It is now my pleasure to introduce Elizabeth Mermin Joswiak, the Interim Academic Vice President of Gonzaga. She is responsible for all academic programs, the faculty, and those offices that support student academic educational experience at Gonzaga. Dr. Mermin Joswiak earned her master's degree from the University of Cologne, Germany, and a PhD in English from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Mermin Joswiak.
Good morning. I'm truly delighted to be here this morning and with Dean Korn and President Mcculloh in extending a welcome to you graduating students of Gonzaga University School of Law and family members, friends, and teachers who are all here with you to share this public acknowledgement of your accomplishments. For over a century, the Jesuit and the lay faculty, the staff, and the administrators of the School of Law have educated, trained, and mentored students in the practice of law, a profession that is at one and the same time an art, a skill, and a service to the wider community. Many of you have brought a passion to serve to your study of the law, and others have developed it while you were here. Internalizing the practice of law as a service is a distinctive mark of a Gonzaga Law graduate. It is particularly fitting that you will hear today from a speaker who was instilled with a passion for civic engagement at an early age and who has spent a career in public service. I'm confident that through the practice of the law, you will contribute to the thriving of communities and the welfare of creation. May you each embrace all of the challenges of life with open minds, open hearts, and a courageous spirit. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Mermin Joswiak. Will President Mcculloh come forward? Each year, we confer the Dean's Academic Achievement Award on a student who has had an exceptional impact on the life of our institution. This year's recipient of the Academic Achievement Award is Christopher Morton. Christopher Morton grew up in Spokane, Washington. He attended Washington State University and graduated with a Bachelor of Science in General Medical Studies. Prior to attending Gonzaga University School of Law, Christopher passed the patent registration exam to become a registered patent agent. While at Gonzaga University School of Law, Christopher excelled in the classroom, earning 8 Callies. That's the highest grade in class in 8 classes. Outside of the classroom, Christopher was a 2-time member of the Saul Lefkowitz Moot Court team, the executive editor for the Gonzaga Journal of International Law, and the president of the Gonzaga Intellectual Property Law Association. He is the recipient of the Spokane County Bar Association Intellectual Property Scholarship, as well as the Washington State Bar Association Intellectual Property Scholarship. Next year, Christopher will be clerking for the Honorable K. Nicole Mitchell in the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Texas. The Pro-Bono Distinction Program recognizes the volunteer service provided by our students. Members of this year's graduating class who performed community service or volunteered legal service during their 3 years at Gonzaga are noted in your program. Those students reported 11,095 pro bono distinction hours during their 3 years of law school. And we know that many more hours were served, but not reported. Our final student award this morning is the Dean's Pro Bono Award of Distinction to Lindsay Wheat. Lindsay Wheat was born and raised in the small town of Incheon, Idaho. She graduated from Marsh Valley High School and went on to earn a BS in political science from Ohio State University. She chose to come to law school because of her passion for helping those in need. During her time at Gonzaga Law, Lindsay interned for the Federal Defenders of Eastern Washington and Idaho, and for the Honorable Stanley A. Bastian. She also volunteered with the Moderate Means Program. After graduation, Lindsay will clerk for the Honorable Robert H. Whaley. She is looking forward to a lifelong career in public service. Lindsay is also the 2018 recipient of the Maury Maurice Award for Service and Leadership. Congratulations, Lindsay. Will Judge Rosanna Maloof-Peterson stand and be recognized?
The Gonzaga Law Medal is bestowed by the School of Law upon deserving individuals who have distinguished themselves in the service of justice. Judge Rosanna Maloof-Peterson received her Juris Doctor from the University of North Dakota School of Law. After earning her law degree, she became the staff attorney for the Honorable Fred Van Sickle, United States District Court for the Eastern District of Washington. For the next 17 years, Judge Peterson worked in private practice, focusing on federal and state criminal defense, employment, and education law. She served as president of the Washington Women Lawyers and as president of the Federal Bar Association of Eastern Washington. During that time, she also taught at Gonzaga University School of Law, specializing in federal jurisdiction, evidence, and trial advocacy. While at Gonzaga, Judge Peterson also served as the director of the externship program. In 2009, President Barack Obama nominated her to serve as a federal judge for the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Washington. Judge Peterson received unanimous confirmation from the Senate in 2010. Today, Gonzaga University School of Law is pleased to recognize Judge Peterson for her exceptional lifetime commitment and service to justice.
Will Senator Katherine Cortez Masto please join Dr. Mcculloh and AVP Mermin Joswiak at center stage. Senator Katherine Cortez Masto is a proud Nevadan. She grew up with strong family values and learned to appreciate the benefits of civic involvement from her parents. She graduated from the University of Nevada, Reno, and received her Juris Doctor from Gonzaga University School of Law. Senator Cortez Masto served as an assistant county manager in Clark County and as a federal prosecutor in the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington, D.C. In 2006, she was elected Nevada's Attorney General. During her tenure as Nevada's Attorney General, she became known as an advocate for seniors, women, and children. In 2016, she became the first woman elected to represent Nevada in the Senate and the first Latina elected to serve in the Senate. Senator Cortez Masto serves on 6 Senate committees, allowing her to continue to advocate for issues affecting all Americans. In recognition of Senator Masto's embodiment of Gonzaga's values of service, justice, and professional excellence, and her lifetime of work founded on the Jesuit ideal of serving others, Gonzaga University proudly bestows on Katherine Cortez Masto the degree Doctor of Laws.
Well, it took 30 years, but I am so excited to be here. It has been an honor and an incredible years, and I'm going to say years, decades, since I've graduated from law school. But first, let me just say thank you to the university president, Thayne Mcculloh, Dean Jane Korn, and Vice President Elizabeth Mermin Joswiak. I'd also like to thank the faculty that are here today. These educators have stood with our grads every step of the way, fulfilling the mission of Gonzaga Law to educate the whole person. And then to the loved ones here celebrating, congratulations. I can just see the smiles beaming right now as you sit there looking at your loved ones. And then a brief shout out to the mothers in the room celebrating and graduating today. I can't think of a better Mother's Day gift. And then, of course, congratulations to our Student Medal Award winners and to today's Law Medal recipient judge, Rosanna Peterson. And most important, to the graduates. You've done it. You are going to go on to do so much more. Congratulations. You've heard them talk about my career. I was sitting in your shoes not too long ago. I graduated from Gonzaga Law School in 1990. Okay, it was a long time ago. Things were a little different back then, though. The law school was not on the banks of the Spokane River, a beautiful, beautiful river, but inside the old Webster grade school building built in 1901 and then restored after a fire in 1945. And I know there's graduates here today that were with me in that grade school at some point in time. If you would raise your hands, please show us who was there. Yes. And if you were lucky enough at that time in the 90s to own a cell phone, it was too big to actually fit in your backpack because it was the size of a brick. Our computers actually used floppy disks, and there was no such thing as Facebook or Twitter or Lyft or Uber. But we did have one thing in common. Like all of you, I never forgot my first day as a 1L, a first-year student. I was told, look to your left, look to your right, somebody's not going to be sitting next to you at the end of the year. And that was true. But you know what? I took that as a challenge. But to be honest, I will also say that I was nervous and intimidated. And I dreaded waiting for my name to be called out in class, knowing I would have to stand up and discuss the next case assignment. And I know, like all of you, there are times when you're not always prepared, but you intend to be. But oftentimes, there's something that comes along, sometimes a 99-cent pitcher at the Bulldog the night before, that when you get up in that morning and you're in that property class, and for me it was Professor Clark, you were just hoping he wouldn't recognize you sitting there. But sure enough, he did. And it was one of those tunnel vision moments where you realize, uh-oh, I gotta perform now or it's never gonna happen. And sure enough, stood up and I nailed it. And I know you've all had that experience. But I'll tell you what, I loved the law. It was a whole new world. I learned how the law could be used to help others and provide a foundation for good public policy. Though at times it was a little overwhelming because I didn't know where the path ahead was going to take me. You know, now, as you've heard, I'm often introduced as a first, the first Latina in the United States Senate, the first woman from the state of Nevada elected to the United States Senate. And before all of that, I was first in my family to graduate from law school. And I've learned that being a first carries with it responsibility. A responsibility to never forget the courage of my grandfather and great-grandfather who immigrated to America from Mexico and Italy for a better life for their families. A responsibility to honor my parents who worked hard every day to ensure their daughters received an education. A responsibility to the neighbors and friends and teachers and bosses along the years and mentors who believed in me. You know, it's one thing to make history being the first, but it also means that I have a seat at the table to be a voice for those who are underrepresented, to ensure that the door that I walk through to get here is open even wider for others to follow, and that the halls of Congress are just as diverse as the communities that we represent. Yet, when I was sitting where you are today, I wasn't thinking about being the first. Honestly, I was thinking, what now? And then I was also thinking, would I ever have to use the rule against perpetuities? And I'm here to tell you, you will never have to use that, ever, ever, ever. But following law school, I went on to a judicial clerkship and then into private practice in a small law firm. I was the only female attorney in a 5-partner law firm. I did general civil litigation work, but I also took on pro bono cases. And it was those cases. It was working with those struggling families, those people who were down on their luck, that I realized what I wanted to do and that I wanted to help people. I wanted to be a warrior for those who needed a helping hand, an advocate for those that are vulnerable or underrepresented. I wanted to fight for people who didn't have a voice. Helping others find their voice in our legal system is so important, especially now when many feel shut out, left behind by our economy, our politics, and our legal system. We have to be their advocates. When I was working in local government after law school, I had the opportunity to work on juvenile justice reform. And during that time, there were a large number of juveniles being arrested for prostitution. The youngest was 13 years of age. And I couldn't understand why this was occurring. So when I became the Attorney General of Nevada, I decided to do something about it. After participating in a ride-along with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, I soon learned that these young kids were the victims of sex trafficking at the hands of pimps. Modern-day slavery in my hometown. Well, not on my watch. So I drafted a law creating the crime of sex trafficking in the state of Nevada. I increased penalties and prison time against the pimps, and I put the victims on a pathway to becoming survivors. I introduced that bill in the Nevada legislature, and it passed unanimously and was signed by the governor into law. But that's what my law school graduation gave to me. It gave me that education. Because with a law school education, each of us every day becomes stewards and guardians for others, stewards and guardians of the American legal system. A rule of law that is emulated around the world is what we have, and it is the bedrock of the liberties and rights of Americans and all of those who aspire to uphold government by the people and for the people. Look at the Constitution, look at the Bill of Rights. These founding documents were written nearly 230 years ago. Though imperfect at the founding, generations of Americans have studied these documents, added their voice, and transformed our country. They made it a more perfect union. Yet after all this time, we still debate them, and each of us are now trained to argue within this legal system. If you choose to practice the law, you will swear an oath to uphold certain principles. For 8 years, I had the privilege of serving as Nevada's top law enforcement officer. My official oath of office as Attorney General concluded, and I quote, "I will well and faithfully perform all the duties of the office of attorney on which I am about to enter, so help me God." To well and faithfully perform. The oaths that we take are commitments to our communities. They are signals that together we are taking on a role as leaders. We put political titles aside and focus on the job at hand, which includes service to others. There are a lot of definitions of service. Service can mean volunteering in the community, or it can mean fighting in uniform, and it can also mean simply using your voice and sharing your story. It can mean breaking down a barrier to make it easier for those who come after you. And it can mean holding the door open and extending a hand for someone to walk through it. Each of you today begin a new journey to understand what service means to you, how you can uniquely contribute as leaders in your community. Each of you have a unique experience and a different perspective, and that's how you set yourself apart in the legal field. And that's how you help bring other voices forward in your practice, by honoring your life experience while serving as a voice for others in our legal system. You are a bridge for people who feel confused and excluded in our communities. In Congress, it is clear to me that so many of the challenges we face as a country are rooted in the fact that some of my colleagues just don't listen to each other. We don't try to put ourselves in someone else's shoes. When I was campaigning to be United States Senator, I met a young girl named Emily Diaz in Las Vegas. She had written me a letter. And in the letter, she said, "I am so excited to learn that you have the potential to be the first Latina ever elected to the United States Senate. And I am rooting for you. I am in the 5th grade, and I'm running in student government. Do you have any tips for me on how I can win?" And I said, I gotta meet this young girl. So I invited her to a next event that I was having. And she came dressed, and she had a clipboard with questions. And we sat down in the corner, and we went through the questions, and we talked. And she was phenomenal. But I will never forget the last question that she said to me. She said, "I was born in this country, but my mother was not. And I am afraid that one day when I come home, she will not be there. Will you be willing to fight for me and my mother?" And I said, "Emily, absolutely, absolutely." So every time I walk on the floor of the United Senate, I think about Emily Diaz and those like her. Those families struggling every day just for an opportunity to have some success in life, whatever that means for them. And I thank our forefathers for having the foresight to create a system of government for the people and by the people, with 3 co-equal branches, each a check on the other. That America's legal system can be an equalizer, because no one is above the law and no one should be denied access to the law. Every time we listen, We can help tell someone's story through the legal system. We have the power to change perspective. We can make it a little easier for those who follow in our footsteps. And you know, when I meet with young Latinas, they share with me that hearing my story reminds them that their background or the color of their skin does not determine how far they can go or what they can become. And I am so encouraged by all of you in this room today. And I'm here to tell you that if I can do it, you can do it too. I'm counting on it. Always remember your service, your voice as a first, because it can blaze trails. Someone was a first for me in Nevada, and her name is Anne Henrietta Martin. She was from Nevada, a suffragette, and was one of the first women to run for the United States Senate in 1918. She didn't win. She came in third. But in a state that had only granted women the right to vote 4 years earlier, this wasn't a loss, and she didn't look at it that way. She said, even if I should not win, it will never seem so strange when a woman tries it again. Now, it took nearly 100 years of attempts by women running for office to finally send a woman to the United States Senate from Nevada in 2016. And do you know that in over 200 years of the Senate, that there has only ever been 52 female senators, and I am number 50. More work needs to be done, and that's why I'm counting on you. And a lot of people will ask you along the way what it feels like to be courageous, to be a first. And I'll tell you what, I tell them each time they ask me, every time there is a first, it's a broken barrier we have gotten through. It's an open door that we have opened even wider. So I'm here to tell you, never, ever, ever be afraid to be a first. Never be afraid to take that initial step. Risk is not a bad thing. Courage is good. And always be a voice for others. I am so proud to be with you here today. And I am just going to say congratulations. You have bright, bright futures ahead of you. And I look forward to someday either meeting with you, working with you, or retiring and let you take the job ahead. So, welcome to the families, congratulations, and to our graduates, you did it. Now go change the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Cortez Masto. We are so proud of you. The student elected by the graduating class to speak is Benjamin Masari. Ben is from Sacramento, California. He's a graduate of the United States Military Academy at West Point and currently serves as a captain in our United States Army on an active duty status. During his time in law school, Ben was very active in our Student Bar Association. In his first year of law school, he served as a class representative for his 1L class. As a second-year law student, Ben served as student body treasurer. And during his third year of law school, Ben served as student body president. Ben was also a recipient of the prestigious Justice Charles Z. Smith Award, which the law school bestows on a selected law student each year for their demonstrated leadership in public service, social justice, and equality. After law school, then will be entering the Judge Advocate General Corps as an Army JAG officer serving in our nation's armed forces.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Dean Korn, thank you so very much for the kind and warm introduction, for I'll be forever thankful and grateful to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for his grace upon grace. Dean Korn, on behalf of the class of 2018, we want to thank you for your dedicated leadership and service that you provided our institution, and specifically our class. For all that you did as Dean of this law school was much appreciated. Thank you so much. As Dean Korn mentioned, my name is Ben Masari. I am a third-year law student along with my classmates, but only for a few more moments. Family and friends, distinguished guests, welcome to this graduation ceremony. It is your presence at this ceremony that makes today a special day. Class of 2018, here we are. It is a day that each and every one of us has been looking forward to for quite some time. But now that we are finally here, I suspect that we want to hold on to the memories just a little bit longer. The role that I have today as student speaker is to provide voice to the memories of this class, as well as recognize how this class arrived to this moment in time, graduation. Part of my role is also to showcase a bit of the personality of this class, and it is the latter that I'll take up first and take up with great delight. You see, in my preparation for today's remarks, many of my classmates approached me with advice and comments on what they wanted today's speech to be about, as well as how I should conceptualize this moment. Many of the comments were quite comical, and I think that was done on purpose, so I find it appropriate to share with you all today. To the classmates who did make these comments, I will not say your name, but you know who you are. First, do not put too much pressure on yourself. We will be too excited to pay attention anyways. And second, I will be happy with whatever you talk about, so long as you make the speech all about me. The personality of this class will be deeply missed. Class of 2018, I want to take us back to when this entire experience began, August 31st, 2015. To the average ear, that was just an average day, but to our class, that was a special day. It was orientation. It was a day that many of us laid eyes on each other for the very first time. On that day, we were a name and a face. As time went on, we became a name, a face, and a hometown. We started to linger a little bit after class, conversations became a little bit longer, and soon enough, we started to understand each other's interests and hobbies. Friendships were developed, alliances were drawn, but never at the expense of another student, because it was this class that was committed to the success of others. This class was the most generous and gracious when it came to lending us steady aid, ensuring that the classmates that we started off with were the same classmates that we'd finish with. One story that sticks out above others is our class preparation for our very first final exam, criminal law. Now, to put this in context for our audience members, our entire grade rested on this one exam, and to increase anxiety, we all recognized right around the same time, maybe a week before the final, that all the cases that we were supposed to read, all of the case briefs that we were supposed to brief, and all of the lengthy philosophical discussions that we had were not going to mean a whole lot for the exam. And what was really going to matter was approximately 37 pages of detailed code in the very back of the book that was generally discussed out of the 1,300 pages of required reading. Now, in our professor's defense, this information and this revelation apparently was actually articulated in our syllabus, but let's be honest, who really reads a syllabus anyways? Nonetheless, we persevered, we showed teamwork, and we made it out of the test alive. We approached that 1L summer with a new level of confidence, taking our educational experiences to countries in Europe, cities in China, while many of us stayed here in the United States refining our craft. We approached our second and third year of law school in much the same fashion, and it was in those years that our friendships were solidified. Now, in reflecting on these memories, the question that I keep coming back to is, how is it that we arrived to this moment in time, graduation, May 12, 2018? And the answer, I believe, implicates our audience members here today. Because I'm convinced that as a class, we are here today because somebody made a difference in our lives. To the parent who encouraged us to pursue our dreams and they gave us the necessary self-esteem to achieve our dreams, you made a difference. To the sibling who showcased love towards us in only the special way that siblings can, by making us laugh and smile and letting us know that everything will be all right, you made a difference. To the relative or family friend who would ask us a simple question, how's law school? Knowing that there is more to the answer that we provided them, they are simply letting us know how proud they were of us. You made a difference. To the spouse, significant other, and child who sacrificed beyond measure, you made a difference. And to our professors, employers, or coworkers who challenge us to reach intellectual heights and succeed at the highest levels, you made a difference. Granted, we are entering a profession where we are required to make a difference in our clients' lives, but what I'm speaking to, and something as a class that we can all recognize, is making a difference in the lives of others, as was done for us. So to our family and friends and loved ones who are here today, and to the ones who could not make it, we are eternally grateful for the love and support that you have shown us through the years, for we will be forever indebted to you in gratitude. To the dean, our professors, and the staff here at the law school, we want to thank you for treating us as attorneys from day one and showing us the necessary dignity and respect along the way. To our distinguished guests, Senator Katherine Cortez Masto and Chief Judge Peterson, we want to thank you for the message of your life and the inspiration that you have provided to so many, including myself. And to my classmates, thank you so much for the lasting friendships and memories that were formed during this 33-month experience. For these memories and friendships will be forever cherished. And thank you for allowing me to speak on your behalf on such a special occasion. Although it will be said many times today, it can never be said enough. My fellow classmates of the class of 2018, congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. The members of the class of 2018 also elect a faculty member to speak to them. This year, it is Professor Ann Murphy. Professor Murphy received her JD from DePaul University in Chicago and worked at the Internal Revenue Service as a trial attorney for 15 years. Okay, she is a two-time Fulbright scholar and lived for 2 academic years in the People's Republic of China, once in Beijing and once as a distinguished chair in Shanghai. She freely admits her Mandarin is terrible, but she is the author of 2 legal treatises, one on federal tax practice and the other, volumes 23 through 26A, of Federal Practice and Procedure Evidence. Professor Murphy also authored 1 book, 3 book chapters, 7 law review articles, and numerous other articles. She is the former chair of the evidence section of the American Association of Law Schools and is the current listserv director for that section. Her favorite subject is evidence, but she also loves teaching civil procedure, wills and trusts, and tax. Professor Murphy is also the blood drive coordinator at Gonzaga Law School and has received the Chairperson of the Year award for her work.
Dean Korn, and Ben, you are so tall. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for this opportunity. It really is a thrill, and I'm so delighted to be here today, so thank you so much. I think I'm going to take some time and just imitate every single faculty member up here. Just take a little time and do each person. I can do this. But you have had a lot of time with us, and hopefully it has been a good time, and I know you've learned a lot, and we certainly appreciate how hard you've worked in our classes. I just wanted to give you a couple of pieces of advice that have helped me along the way, and hopefully that's of some help to you. So, first of all, I want to say congratulations. You have made it through 3 very long and difficult years, or maybe 2 long and difficult years, because you may be on the accelerated program. You've worked really hard. There have been ups and downs, no doubt. There may have been some tragedy in your life, and you saw it through. You made it today. And so congratulations to you. It is just a wonderful day. Okay, so first piece of advice, don't be afraid to say yes. Some of the best things I've ever done were completely unpredictable. So for example, being here today is completely unpredictable. If you would have told me 20 years ago that I would be speaking before a graduating class of lawyers, I would not have believed you. And so try new challenges, try new things, challenge yourself, go for it. I decided to move to San Francisco, and I had never been west of the Rocky Mountains, but I just got in my car and I put everything I owned in it, and I drove on I-80 from Illinois to California, straight across the country, and it was the best thing I ever did. Second, don't be afraid to say no. Now, I know that interferes with what I just said, because I said don't be afraid to say yes. But don't be afraid to say no is put some limitations on yourself in terms of what is important to you. When they do interviews of people in palliative care, one of the top 5 regrets they have is they work too much. So you usually don't have someone on their deathbed saying, gosh, I wish I worked harder. I wish I would have written more pages in that brief. It's usually, I wish I would have spent more time with my family. So don't be afraid to say no, work hard, get in, get out, and make yourself have a life as well, because it's very important for us to be there for our families and be there for ourselves. Third, go beyond what you think you're capable of. So I had to ask my husband how to pronounce this because he is the language person in our family. But it's a Finnish word, and it's sisu. And sisu essentially doesn't have a direct translation in English, but it means grit or tenacity. And what happened, and the way it came about, is the Finns, which they're a small country, they were being invaded by the Russians. They had a fraction of the people. They had a fraction of the equipment. Yet they held off the Russian advance. And okay, they're really good skiers. I'll give them that. They're still skiing. They're still in the Olympics. They're winning these things. The reason is because they have this grit, this tenacity. They didn't give up. And so what they lacked in size, they made up for in speed. And so I want you to go beyond what you think you're capable of. I've done it, and I've been very surprised. Your life will take you in many different directions, and not the direction you want, and not the direction you expected. But sometimes those twists and turns are the absolute best things in your life. And so go for it and hold on, you can do it. You've done more than you thought you could already, haven't you? You're here today, and probably on your first day of school, you didn't think you'd be able to do it, and you have, so I'm really happy about that. Fourth, I wanted to tell you that with this law degree, you have a special power. You have a power that is going to open doors. You have a power that has a secret language. And so our secret language keeps others out. And so you know it's a motion to quash. But a lot of people think it's a motion to squash, which actually sounds better, doesn't it? I really someday want to do a motion to squash, just to do it. But we do have this special language and we keep it to ourselves. I remember one of the first cases I ever read. It started like this. This is a case in Assumpsit. And I was like, what? And I had my legal dictionary open, and I'm like, what the heck is Assumpsit? And I looked up the definition, and I still didn't know what it meant. And so 3 years went by, and I learned these words, and I learned the code, and I learned our special language. So I want to tell you, you have a superpower. I know you don't think of it that way, but it really is. It's really a superpower, because you can help people that others aren't able to help. And instead of a cape, you have the Constitution. And you can use that Constitution both as a shield and as a sword. And so you can bring that Constitution to stop the government intervention in some way. You can use it as a shield to protect your clients and say, no, you are not able to do that to my client. And so that Constitution is way better than a cape. It's absolutely wonderful, and you're gonna love working with it. So I want you to be kind and compassionate. And we always see on television the lawyers are these really scary, powerful, let's cut them off at the knees kind of people. And actually, the best lawyers out there are the ones who work together with people and are kind and are compassionate, because people are afraid. And we are there to help. And so please do as much as you can to help. So there's one more thing I wanted to remind your guests about, and that's this little exam that's coming up. And so we're going to make you suffer one more time. We're going to make you wait for your graduate to go on vacations, to go out for dinner, to go out with their friends, because there's a big exam coming up. And it isn't difficult. I know that sounds crazy, but it's enormous. It's absolutely enormous, and you can't catch up. So with that, I wanted to tell you, in the next week, go wild, go crazy. I mean, do everything you want to do in the next week, and try not to get arrested, because that would not be good. But as my husband would say, drive it like you stole it. Just go nuts, and then settle down and start pushing that giant boulder up the hill. And you can do it. Just do whatever you can to make it just one time, because it really ruins your summer. Sorry about that, but it's so worth it when it's done, because you are going to be great lawyers. So on behalf of the faculty, I want to tell you this is a very bittersweet moment, because we have grown to really care about you. And we're delighted for you. We're so happy you're graduating, but it's also very sad for us, because we have to say goodbye. But the good thing is we have Facebook, we have texts, we have telephone calls, and so please stay in touch. Thanks.
Thank you, Professor Murphy. We are almost to the moment that you have all been anxiously awaiting, the conferral of degrees. Exams are over, the celebrations are about to begin, or for some of you, perhaps continue. We've had the privilege of watching you grow from terrified law students to appropriately confident graduating law students today. We have prepared you to be lawyers, to be excellent lawyers. Now, there will be some times when you question what you have chosen to do. Studying for the bar will be one of them, as Professor Murphy said. But there will also be days when you get mired in the details of everyday life. Your bills to pay, your loans to repay, the requirements of going to work, the demands of the practice of law. And there will be days when you are challenged by partners, clients, or some negative media report about lawyers. And on those days, I hope you will have something to bring you back to why you chose this path, why you chose to be a lawyer, to make a change in the life of someone else, to make their life better, to look for the truth, to help someone who before you had no voice, to argue on behalf of someone you believe in, and sometimes for someone you are not sure you believe in because it is the right thing to do, because you are a lawyer. And I hope that this will bring you back to why you chose to be a lawyer. You can make a difference. And now, by the authority vested in Gonzaga University by the state of Washington, I am pleased to present candidates for the law school degree. Associate Dean Brooks Holland will read the names of candidates from A through J, and these graduates will be hooded by Academic Vice President Mermin Joswiak and Professor Jessica Kaiser. Associate Dean Kim Pearson will read the names of candidates K through Z, and these candidates will be hooded by Professor Mcculloh and Professor Ann Murphy. Okay, let's go.
Thank you. Jacob Thomas Allen.
William Kincaid, magna cum laude.
Rachel Lee Oloko, cum laude.
Dr. Pamela S. Kohlmeyer, magna cum laude.
Benjamin Asare, cum laude.
Christian Lawler, magna cum laude.
Carly Elizabeth Ashby, magna cum laude.
Kyle S. Laver Jones.
Charles Van Barnett.
Zachary Ryan Layton.
Bailey Connor Eileen Black, cum laude.
Christopher Leon, cum laude.
Dakota Michael Black, cum laude.
Matthew Lieberts, magna cum laude.
Regina Bradley, magna cum laude.
Morgan Catherine Licks.
Maxwell Monroe Bridge, magna cum laude.
Sadie Lowe.
Haley Bunt Brown, magna cum laude.
Jennifer Jeanette Lowry, cum laude.
Quentin Conrad Brown, JD, MBA.
Hannah Sophia Mandel Senft, cum laude.
Dylan Broyles, magna cum laude.
Lucio Emmanuel Maldonado, magna cum laude.
Devin Kurta, magna cum laude.
Jacob Andrew Mark, cum laude.
Kelly Cummings, cum laude.
Cord Allen McCabe, cum laude.
Andrew Richard Corwin, cum laude.
Corey Metzner, cum laude.
Dana Corral, magna cum laude.
Andrew William Miller, cum laude.
Rachel Suzanne Collins.
Christopher Power Morton, summa cum laude.
Sheridan Nicole Classic.
Alicia Myers.
Taylor Brandt Christensen, cum laude.
Joseph Thomas Myers, summa cum laude.
Peter Jorgen Christensen.
Megan Marie Nybarger.
Mary Emily Carter, cum laude.
Caleb John Nolta.
Yvonne Renee Carrick, summa cum laude.
Kyle Christopher Olson, summa cum laude.
Derek Butts, cum laude.
Corina Pavlovna Pilat, cum laude.
Matthew Brunel.
Dalton Reynolds, magna cum laude.
Mark L. Garner, JD MS Tax.
Grant Reynolds, cum laude.
Patrick Gallagher, cum laude.
Marianne Teresa Roman.
Sarah Carrillo Freeberg.
Tyler Roth.
Haley Wright Farley, cum laude.
Jordan K. Shaper, cum laude.
Daniel Eigler, cum laude.
David Seek, magna cum laude.
Barbara Greta Ermgard Duerbeck.
Philip Silcher.
Philip Daniel Doran.
C.S. Skrillex.
Jacob Michael Dillon, summa cum laude.
Todd Lucas Sleva.
Haley Catherine DeLay, cum laude.
Samuel Nehemiah Smith III, cum laude.
Colin Frederick DeBrule.
Walt Tanner.
Ryan Joseph DeLessi, cum laude.
Mick Taylor, JD MBA.
Dale Johnson.
Jason Tholen, cum laude.
Rochelle Jacobs.
Christella Vu, JD, MBA.
Matthew KT Ishihara, cum laude.
Megan Marie Walls, cum laude.
Christopher Isbell.
Lindsay Jo Wheat, cum laude.
Joshua House, cum laude.
Zachary Weedman.
Blake Lynn Virginia Houlihan, summa cum laude.
Alex Michael Wilson, JD, MBA, summa cum laude.
Megan Marie Hess, summa cum laude.
Molly Ann Jarrett Winsack.
Adam J. Hurd, cum laude.
Shelby Welk.
Taylor McBride Hennessy.
David Woodstock, cum laude.
Grady R. Hines, cum laude.
Robert Thomas Wright, summa cum laude.
Court Hall, magna cum laude.
Joseph Thomas Zimmer.
Matthew Gibson, JD, MBA.
Congratulations, class of 2018. You may now move your tassel to the left. On behalf of the university and the law school, thank you, Senator Cortez Masto, for addressing our graduates. Thank you, Judge Peterson, for your incredible work and the impact you've had on the law school community. To the class of 2018, remember your hopes and dreams the ideals and vision you brought to law school. Remember why you chose to become a lawyer and hold on to that. Remember the good times and the challenges you had here, and go out into the world and do good work. President Mcculloh, AVP Mermin Joswiak, and honored guests, it is my honor to present to you the graduating class of 2018. In a minute, I'm going to ask everyone to stand for the benediction offered by Father Lee. At the conclusion of the benediction, please wait for the platform party and the graduates to exit before you do. Then please join us for a reception on the back patio of the law school as we toast our new graduates. Thank you. Father Lee.
We pause for a moment to thank you, our generous and loving God, for the blessings of this commencement ceremony. We give thanks for the gift of Jesuit higher education. We give thanks for the Gonzaga community who gathered to celebrate this milestone event, for the wisdom and inspiration of Senator Cortez, Masto, Judge Peterson, Ann Murphy, and Masari. We give you thanks. We are especially grateful for the creative minds and generous hearts of our graduates. We pray that God's blessing will be upon them as they commence into the world as women and men for others. May God's blessings follow you all as you find new journeys to travel. May you walk safely along the pathways of your dreams. May God's gentle hand guide the decisions you will make and the passions that you follow. May your hearts and lives always reflect God's love, God's truth, and God's justice. And may hope be a light within you that you carry into each new day. May God walk with all of us into the future and bless us with a deep desire to share our gifts with those most in need. For all that has been, for all that will be, we say amen.